The CEO of Aviva has caused a stir after saying that all white male recruits must get her sign-off as part of a diversity drive, that diversity word, at the company. Amanda Blank told MPs at the Treasury Select Committee that harassment in financial services is worse than any other industry and that her initiative was designed to fight sexism in finance. Joining me now is the director of New Culture Forum, Peter Whittle. Peter, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Thank you very much, especially at this time of year, because I'm sure you're already ready for Christmas? Done all your shopping?
Pretty much, I think, all in place.
I hate you already. OK, I haven't even read the card yet. So what do you make of what Amanda has said, though?
Well, it's very well summed up, actually, in your intro. There are 2 points here, and both of them are outrageous, frankly. She is saying that she will sign off on all senior recruits who are, as she put it, non-diverse. So she means white men. Now, I think that's racist. If she were to say, the good way of just simply working that out is to say, right, well, if it had been about any other, if she had said, for example, I'm going to sign off on all diverse recruitment, there would have been, quite rightly, an enormous kerfuffle and outrage. She wouldn't be in the job now, as we speak, if she'd said that. But now it is quite acceptable, if you like, to be anti-white in that way. The second thing, which you referred to there, is that she's talking about fighting sexism in the workplace and in employment. Fine. But then why is she relating it, therefore, to white recruitment? I mean, you know, what has that got to do with that? I mean, you know, frankly, amongst non-white parts of our country and communities, there are far more ingrained sexist attitudes, actually. So she seems to have crossed two particular issues and put them together. Both of them, I think, are pretty disgraceful, actually. The main thing is that this whole ideology of diversity and inclusion and equity now goes through all of our society, basically, whether it is private companies right through to our public bodies. And we're seeing more and more examples of this. We had the RAF, for example, early this year, and that was found out, you know, in a circuitous way. What was interesting about what Amanda Blanc said here of Aviva was that she was proud of this. She said it at a select committee, and it shows you, I think, what a bubble these people live in. She was,
to be fair to Peter, she was talking about her experiences in the financial industry, and that is an incredibly misogynistic industry, and it is also incredibly white male dominated at the top. Now, she is the first CEO of that company, the first female chief executive of that company, and I think what she's trying to, and she also detailed in her testimony some of the fairly horrific sexist abuse that she's suffered as a woman trying to make her way through. You know, starting with the minor stuff like, oh, do you wear the trousers, love, and, you know, oh, you sure you're the best man for the job? So that's sort of like passive-aggressive sexism there. So I think, surely she's just trying to even out the old, you know, the old-school high network that exists in this industry in particular.
You're not allowed, actually, to discriminate on the basis of race, religion and all of those things. You really are not. So basically, are we going to get to a position, therefore, where somehow we allow someone to effectively, I think it might even be illegal what she's doing in that case.
OK.
You know, and I mean, the fact is, it is simply outrageous. It sends a message at a time when, for example, young white boys are, without question, the lowest in terms of going into higher education. We all know that now. There is a problem there.
If you're talking about the working class,
yes,
young white male, yes,
though,
absolutely.
It's pretty much open season on white people in that.
So, I was going to say, do you think that's interesting? Do you think that sort of like, you know, white men are the group that everyone feels they can discriminate against?
I would say, well, to two groups, white men, yes, and certainly working class people. But let's keep it to this, right, to senior recruits. Of course, there's this idea now in society of white privilege. All these ideas have been taken right on board by all of our institutions and increasingly our companies. A lot of it is virtual signalling, but she was quite clear about what she is doing. She is signing off, or rather people who are, as it were, non-diverse, she put it, she has to sign off on. She's quite clear about what she's doing there. And I think that, frankly, it should concern us all. There should be a change in the law, because a lot of this comes from the Equality Act of 2010. But those things sort of take a long time. What I would say, actually, Dawn, is that basically people have got more power than they think they've got. You should just boycott these firms that do this stuff. I mean, don't go to Aviva. Take your policies elsewhere.
But, again, playing devil's advocate with Amanda here, and speaking as a woman that's sort of like come through the ranks of tabloid journalism,
yes, you've had all these high-profile jobs, haven't you? Would you have wanted them just because you're a woman?
No, I don't think she's saying that, Peter. I think what she's actually saying that she is trying to... So many companies pay lip service to diversity. I mean, you know, we all know sort of like, you know, manufacturers of ice cream and things like that. Oh, we're very inclusive and very diverse. But if you actually look at the board level, they're not. They are almost exclusively white, middle class and male. So I think at least with Amanda, she is actually saying that she is determined to do something in her industry. She's not actually saying she's going to discriminate against them, but she's trying to get more...
She's entirely discriminating. She's entirely discriminating.
She didn't say she wasn't going to give them the job. She just said she was trying to... No, she said she would be signing off. She didn't say she wasn't going to give them the job.
In other words, she is going to apply another standard, if you like, or another stage based on someone's ethnicity, in this case, white men. I mean, the fact is that this ideology, diversity, inclusion, equity, is going, as I said, to all of our society now. The problem with it all is that if you don't take people on the basis of any talent they might have, and if it's purely down to those criteria, then eventually it will, you know, it will show itself in the performance of the company. It will show itself, you know, they start not to do things well because their whole preoccupation is in another direction.
Peter Whittle,
thank you.
White man, thank you very much for coming on and giving us your opinion. See, we're not discriminate here. We'll talk to Peter Whittle. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you. Appreciate that.